Welcome to the lecture room. I am Dr. Vishwas Tiwari, Assistant Professor in the Department of Biology, Nirmala College, Ujjain. And today itself, I will explain something about the very, very important topic of the reproduction, that is the reproduction in organism. This topic is very much related to the reproductive biology, as we know that the branch of biology deals with the study of reproduction, or the process of reproduction is known as reproductive biology. As far as concerned about the reproduction, the word reproduction, if I will split the word re plus production, means production, again production, production, and maintaining the species in the evolutionary sequence. So the maintenance of species in all the living beings is, what is the criteria of the maintenance of species in all the living beings? The criteria is the process of, or I can say, the continuous process of reproduction. Basically, all the living beings are classified into three categories. Category number one is unicellular prokaryotic organisms. Category number two is unicellular eukaryotic organism. And category number three is multicellular eukaryotic organisms. Category number one, unicellular prokaryotic organisms. They are also known as prokaryotes. Prokaryotes means this category, or the organisms that belongs to this category, they are very specific. They are electron microscopic. They are found everywhere. They develop in fraction of seconds. They die in fraction of seconds. Prokaryotes, they are actually prokaryotes. What exactly is the meaning of the prokaryotes? Prokaryotes means prokaryotic cell. They are unicellular, as I already told you that. Prokaryotes means the cell which is not having the confined nucleus, means nuclear material is not covered by a prominent nuclear membrane. It means that the nuclear material is found scattered all over the cytoplasm. This is actually the meaning of the prokaryotic cell or the prokaryotes. So unicellular prokaryotic organisms, this is first and foremost category, and this is the largest group in the biology, my dear students. Yes, largest group. As if I will emphasize that there's something about the reproductive process in the prokaryotic organisms. So this reproductive process means they actually perform the amitosis cell division. Means the cell division takes place in fraction of second. They develop in fraction of second. They originate in blooms. The branch of biology deals with the study of microbes or the microorganisms or the prokaryotic, unicellular prokaryotic organisms is known as microbiology. I remember the name of the very famous American scientist, Libby Henrietta Hyman. In 16th century, she used the word acellular, or also known as unicellular. Actually, she proposed the word acellular, means unicellular organisms. So this is first category, unicellular prokaryotic organisms. Examples: prions, virus, viroids, bacteria, rickettsia, etc., etc. They are dangerous organisms. They are parasitic pathogenic organisms that causes the dangerous disease. As we are facing a dangerous COVID-19 disease, it's very much related to the COVID-19 virus, coronavirus, as we know that. So that virus and several other viruses that belongs to the category unicellular prokaryotic organisms. So the reproduction is now very clear. The reproduction in the unicellular prokaryotic organism, simple amitosis cell division that develops in fraction of seconds, as I already told you. Now category number two, unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Unicellular eukaryotic organism means a slight difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. In the unicellular eukaryotic organism means the cell which is having a confined nucleus. That nuclear material is surrounded by a clear-cut nuclear membrane. This type of cell is known as unicellular eukaryotic cell. So what is the difference between the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell? The prokaryotic cell which is not having the confined nucleus, while the eukaryotic cell which is having the confined nucleus. So unicellular eukaryotic organisms, this is the second largest category all over the world in the biology. Examples: amoeba, paramecium, euglena, monocyst, etc., etc. Some species of the unicellular eukaryotic organisms, they are parasitic pathogenic. Third one is the multicellular eukaryotic organisms. In this category, all the plants and all the animals, including human beings, they belong to this category, multicellular eukaryotic organisms. So now we'll see that how reproduction takes place in all these categories and how the reproductive processes, how they perform the reproductive processes. So one by one we will see that what exactly is the reproduction as per the definition of the reproduction. Reproduction in organisms. The reproduction is the biological process by which new individual organisms are produced of the same kind. This is actually the continuous natural process, reproduction. Basically, reproduction is classified into two categories. Number one is asexual reproduction. Number two is sexual reproduction. Further, the asexual reproduction is classified into the two categories: gamete and fragmentation. Here in sexual reproduction, unisexual and hermaphrodites. These are the photographs of some organisms. So, my dear students, the reproductive process or the reproduction, how it takes place in the various organisms. If I will emphasize the 5 kingdom classification proposed by the Whittaker. So the classification systematically, number 1 category is kingdom Monera, number 2 is kingdom Protista, number 3 is kingdom Fungi, number 4 is kingdom Animalia and kingdom Plantae. If we will see that how the reproduction takes place in the kingdom Monera or the Monerans, or the animals or the organisms that belongs to the, we can say the Monerans or the kingdom Monera. As I already told you that the virus, bacteria, prions, they develop in fraction of seconds. They perform the amitosis cell division. This is the process of reproduction. In case of the kingdom Protista, Protistians means unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc., etc. So how the reproduction, or we can say the reproductive processes takes place into the unicellular eukaryotic organisms or Protistians. So these processes in the next slide, we'll see that again the asexual reproduction, the categories performed by the unicellular eukaryotic organisms like amoeba, paramecium, euglena, binary fission, multiple fission, budding, fragmentation, sporulation. Another category is vegetative propagation. And the vegetative propagation is that again classified into the two categories: natural, in case of the plants, that is root, stem and leaf, naturally the vegetative propagation, it happens. While artificially we can perform also by human beings, that is cutting, grafting, layering and tissue culture technology. So my dear students, the reproductive processes, if I will emphasize the reproduction in the unicellular eukaryotic organisms or protozoans, amoeba, paramecium, euglena. So how it takes place in the next slide? Yes. This slide is indicating the first one is the structure of the amoeba, and this is second one is the euglena, and this is paramecium. These are unicellular eukaryotic organisms. They belongs to the kingdom Protista. Protistians. Protistians means first animal, primitive animals. So as far as concerned about the Protistians, the most primitive and the primitive Protistian is known as amoeba, Amoeba proteus. I will emphasize the species of the amoeba, that is Amoeba proteus. It is irregular in shape and size. It has patch-like nucleus, prominent nucleus, conspicuous nucleus. So how the reproduction takes place, the binary fission, if I will emphasize the binary fission, the process of the binary fission in the amoeba. So what happened actually, the nucleus of the amoeba is stretched in the cytoplasm, and it ultimately divides into the two parts. First, the nuclear division. In biology, or in that some technical biological word, the nuclear division is also known as the karyokinesis. So the karyokinesis takes place in the cell of the amoeba, as the cell of the amoeba is irregular in shape and size. So this is karyokinesis. What happened that as the cytoplasm is stretched, okay, and ultimately what happened, the nucleus is just ultimately simultaneously divides into the two parts, and then simultaneously the cell divides into two. This is known as the process of binary fission in the amoeba. The next one is the euglena. Euglena is having a definite shape. No doubt it is a unicellular organism. It also belongs to the same category, that is phylum Protozoa or Protisteans. Euglena is having the one flagella. So the euglena, it is having the shape. It's also known as a very important information, that is a connective link between the plants and animal. So the euglena, same process takes place here. The nucleus or karyokinesis takes place, and after the karyokinesis, euglena, the cell membrane of the euglena divides in two parts, and it divides into the two cell. In case of if I will emphasize the transverse binary fission process into the paramecium. Now, something about paramecium. A species of the paramecium chordatum. Actually, paramecium is a sleeper animalcule, and it has the cilia, uniform cilia all over the cell membrane. These cilia and these flagella and the euglena, they are actually locomotory organs, and they use these important organelle structures for the locomotion. So this ciliary organism or ciliary unicellular organism, the paramecium, actually it is having the two nucleus, the micronucleus and the macronucleus. So that macronucleus and the micronucleus, they are two nucleus, they undergoes what the karyokinesis, and ultimately in the transverse, we can say division takes place. So the paramecium, it divides into two parts. So these are the three important protisteans, how the binary fission or the process of fission takes place. Next slide. Now this slide is again just for the explanation. This I'm just going to that binary fission, very clear. Okay, if you want to see that, this is the complete area of the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm of the amoeba is actually divided into two parts. The peripheral cytoplasm is known as ectoplasm. The inner cytoplasmic area is known as dense endoplasm. The endoplasm is more dense with comparison to the peripheral ectoplasm. So ectoplasm and endoplasm. So this is ectoplasmic area, my dear students, and this is endoplasmic area. A patch-like nucleus is in the center. With comparison to the size of the cell, the nucleus is broad nucleus, rounded nucleus, prominent nucleus, as it is eukaryotic cell. And so what happened actually, the nucleus is just karyokinesis starts, and the nucleus divides, and along with, I can say simultaneously, the cell divides and the two daughter amoebae is formed. Next slide, please. Now, this is again the slide of the euglena as the connective link between plants and animal. The fission process, binary fission, how it is takes place in the euglena, unicellular prokaryotic organisms. A fissure, or I can say suture, is just forming right from the anterior portion where the flagella is there, or stigmal portion is there, where that suture is forming, and ultimately it just divides into the two parts, is known as binary fission, the process. Next. This slide is actually the process what it's indicating. This slide is illustrating what the various process of vegetative propagation. So, my dear students, actually, if I will define what exactly is the vegetative propagation or the method of the vegetative propagation, means a part of plant or animal body, if it is detached from the main body, that part will develop into the new individual of the same kind by favorable environmental circumstances, is known as vegetative propagation. Actually, we can perform the vegetative propagation or the process of the vegetative propagation artificially. Naturally, it happens into some underground stem, in some categories of the plant, but we can perform the artificial vegetative propagative methods. And as the vegetative propagation or the vegetative reproduction is totally different from the asexual reproduction. In case of the asexual reproduction, what happens? What is the difference between the vegetative propagation and the asexual reproduction? So if I will emphasize the asexual reproduction or the process of the asexual reproduction, means the part of the plant or animal body, if it is detached from the man body, that part of the plant or that injured part of the plant or that part of the man plant, it develops into the new structure, a specific structure, and that specific structure will develop into the new individual of the same kind by coming favorable environmental circumstances is known as asexual reproductive method. So asexual reproduction means both the partners, that is male and female, they are not participating very correctly, very simple. That's why the name is asexual reproduction. So these are the artificial method of the vegetative propagation. This is budding, very simple process as we are performing in our gardens. Next one is whip and tongue grafting. The grafting means the portion of the plant we are just inserting is known as scion, and it is stock that we are inserting, and this is known as the whip and tongue grafting. The side grafting, that's we are just placing the branch of the plant which is to the side by side, is known as side grafting, and the very simple process, that is a layering. Next slide. My dear student, this is actually the slides indicating the transverse binary fission in the paramecium. As already explained, that transverse binary fission, the slide is actually a mitotic cell division of the macronucleus. It divides, and simultaneously the mitotic cell division of the micronucleus, and ultimately the paramecium divides into two parts. Next slide, please. This is a very specific process how the karyokinesis or the division of nucleus takes place without the division of the cytoplasm or the cell membrane. This is very important. This process is also known as the endomixis process. Endo means inside, exo means outside. Endomixis, how it takes place. A macronucleus degenerates and disappears here in the paramecium. The next one is that the macronucleus, it divides in the micronucleus, especially divides into the 8 parts, 6 to 8 parts, and afterwards that it divides into the 2 paramecium. And similarly, the macronucleus and the micronucleus both, they divides, and ultimately the paramecium divides into the 4 parts through the endomixis process. You will not believe that, my dear students, the paramecium also perform the process of sexual reproduction. Yes, the process of sexual reproduction through the conjugation method. But that I will explain later on. The next slide. This is actually the slide is illustrating that the processing of the paramecium clear into the sexual reproduction in the paramecium. If I will emphasize the third category of the reproduction, that is the sexual reproduction in the unicellular organisms. The sexual reproduction in the unicellular organisms, as the paramecium is performing, the 2 paramecium, they approach with each other, and what happen actually, the cell membrane is just merged and the conjugation tube is forming, and the exchange of the genetic material takes place into the 2 paramecium, and ultimately the sexual reproduction takes place. The next slide, please. This is difference between the binary fission and the multiple fission. This is fully grown amoeba. In the binary fission, what happened that the cytoplasm, also known as cytokinesis, nucleoplasm or the nucleus, the division of the nucleus is known as the karyokinesis. They takes place, and ultimately the formation of the 2 amoebae. This is known as the binary fission. While in case of multiple fission, what happened? In the multiple fission, the nucleus or the nuclear portion, it divides into the several parts, and the nuclear portion divides into several parts, and then afterwards the cytoplasm surrounds to the each and every part of the nucleus, and then the several amoebae are forming. This is multiple fission. Okay, so my dear students, this is what the reproduction takes place into the unicellular prokaryotic organisms and the unicellular eukaryotic organisms. As I explained that some bacteria, the species of the bacteria like Escherichia coli. My dear students, this bacteria is very, very specific bacteria. It's well-known bacteria. It is found in our intestine. The E. coli, Escherichia coli, it is extensively used into the various processing of the genetic engineering and in the revolutionary, we can say, the strain of the bacteria, okay, having the circular that genetic material. So this Escherichia coli is performed through the investigation and I can say the research or the discovery, we can say the sexual reproduction, it takes place into the bacteria and it is very well seen into the Escherichia coli. What happened actually, two bacteria, they approach with each other, and what happened, a conjugation tube is forming, and the same process is also forming into the paramecium, and that conjugation tube, the genetic material is just transferring. So this is the sexual reproductive method. No doubt the unicellular organs, they are very simple, and only there is no complete cellular, this is simple is the cellular organization, even not the cellular organization, they are unicellular, while in case of the sponges or the porifers. Myrisine porifers, the another category of the animal kingdom, porifers. The porifers are actually sponge. They are having the cellular organization. Their body is perforated, porous body. So how the reproduction takes place in the porifers? In the porifers, a specific structure is forming. That structure is known as the gemule, a disc-like structure. By a favorable environment of circumstances, the gemule will develop into the new individual of the same kind, or the sessile, perforated porifers or the organism. The best example is Sycon gelatinosum or the sponge, common sponge. Porifers, Demospongia, Calcarea, Hexactinellida. There are two types of sponge, as you know that is hard sponge and the soft sponge. Third category in the animal kingdom, if we will emphasize the process of reproduction, how reproduction takes place into the other organism in the animal kingdom. The third category is the coelentrates. Coelentrates are actually jelly-like organisms. The best example is jellyfish, and they perform a very specific process. That process is known as metagenesis. What exactly is the process metagenesis? In the metagenesis, what happened? Alternation of generation. In other words, it is also known as alternation of generation. The first phase is known as polyp. The next phase is known as medusa. So the polyp phase in the coelentrates is actually asexual reproductive phase. Means the body is developing through the polyp phase is known as asexual reproductive phase. And in the asexual reproductive body after polyp phase, it develops a disc-like structure in the whole body, and these disc-like structures are known as medusae. And these medusae, they detach from the main body and they float on the uppermost surface of the water, and these medusae will develop into the medusae, they perform the sexual reproduction. It means that the medusae is the sexual reproductive phase, polyp is the asexual reproductive phase. So alternation of the polyp into the medusa, medusa into the polyp means asexual reproduction to the sexual reproduction, sexual reproduction to the asexual reproduction. This type of the alternation of generation, this process, it takes place into the, we can say, coelentrates. Similar, the process is also observed into the one category of the plant. I remember the name of the category is the bryophytes. Yes, they also perform the sporophytic generation and the gametophytic generation. The sporophytic generation means the asexual reproductive phase, while in case of the gametophytic generation, that is the, we can say, the sexual reproductive phase. The same process, but remember that the word metagenesis is only used for the coelentrates, means the, we can say, conversion of the polyp phase into the medusa. Now the next category, helminths. Helminths are actually two groups, Platyhelminthes and Nemathelminthes. Platyhelminths, they are actually parasitic pathogenic organisms, my dear students. These parasitic pathogenic organisms, they are flat, dorsoventrally flattened organisms. They belongs to the phylum Platyhelminthes. The best example is the Planaria or Dujaceae. Planaria or Dujaceae is not actually parasitic pathogenic. There are 1 or 2% the category of the Platyhelminths are parasitic pathogenic organisms. The organism Planaria, it is actually the Planaria which is dorsoventrally flattened. It is freshwater organism. It is found in the pond. And that Planaria, it performed the surprising process of regeneration. totally decapitation of the head, or if you'll divide the body of the planaria, it will develop into the several parts. This is process of regeneration, another process of the asexual reproduction. While in case of the other organisms, maximum organism into the Platyhelminthes phylum, or the organisms that belongs to the Platyhelminthes phylum, they are actually hermaphrodite. Now I will tell you what's the meaning of the hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means the category of bisexual organisms. Means the reproductive organ of male and female, they are found in both. In the one body is known as the bisexual organism. In the unisexual condition, on the other hand, there is the male is different and the female body is different. They are separate. They have their own reproductive organs, and similarly in the female. So, my dear students, now it's very clear that into the platyhelminths and some in category of the nemathelminths, maximum parasitic pathogenic helminths, they are hermaphrodite. They are bisexual. What the reproduction takes place internally into the body. They are dangerous organisms. They causes the dangerous diseases as elephantiasis, I can say filariasis, also known as the filariasis, escheriasis, okay, trypanosomiasis. So disease, okay, is not only caused by the prokaryotes or the microorganisms like the bacteria and viruses. The diseases, they're also caused by some protozoans and some helminths also. So there are three important categories that causes the dangerous diseases all over the world, according to the report of the WHO, World Health Organization. Number one is that virus and bacteria, dangerous as we are facing the disease. What is the coronavirus disease? COVID-19. As the monerans, it belongs to the monera. Virology, virus means poison. No chance of any benefit from the virus. Anyway, so next one is that we can say the category causes the disease, some percentage of the, we can some species of the protozoans or the proteaceans that causes disease. As I told you that trypanosomiasis is the disease, and amoeba histolytica causes amoebiasis. Okay, and helminths. Helminths, they are roundworms, pinworm, hookworms. They causes the dangerous disease in the body of the human beings, and they use the host body. Other cattles, the body of the cow, buffalo, pig, okay, whatever maybe. Okay, so my students, now I will explain the process of reproduction into, or you can say reproductive process, how it is performed by the arthropods. Arthropods are actually having the chitinous exoskeleton. They have jointed appendages. They are very specific organisms, and this is third largest group of the world in the biology, and this is the first largest group in the multicellular organisms. So, my students, arthropods, they perform maximum arthropods, they are actually hermaphrodite or the bisexual, but some species of the arthropods, they are also unisexual. If I will emphasize the, if I remember the very, very important insect known as the cockroach. So, cockroach, some species of the cockroach, they are unisexual, some species of the cockroach is bisexual. So, if the reproductive process or the fertilization takes place in between the two bisexual is known as cross-fertilization. While in case of the unisexual organisms, as you know that the male and female, so that is the same simple, the process of the sexual reproduction. So in this manner, what that? But a very important process I will tell you that the parthenogenesis. It is performed by some category of the organisms like ants, termites, and several other insects, means. So they perform the direct, we can say, development of the male cell without contact of the female. Direct development of the female cell without contact of the male is known as the process of the parthenogenesis. It's a characteristic feature of some insects category in the phylum Arthropoda. Next group is phylum Mollusca. Mollusks are actually delicate shell-bearing organisms. Mollusks, they are also maximum, they are unisexual. Some species are bisexual. The important, they are octopus, sepia, loligo, and they perform the process of the both, that is the sexual reproduction. In case of after the mollusca, if I will emphasize to the phylum Echinodermata. The phylum Echinodermata or Echinoderms means starfish, a group of the starfish. In the starfish, the process of regeneration takes place. Beautiful process of regeneration, it takes place into the starfish. Part of the arm of the starfish is totally detached, and that arm will develop into the new arm. This is what the process of the complete regeneration, as it also found into the crabs, into the arthropods, crustaceans. The crabs, their chelicera develops into the new chelicera after detachment of the old chelicera. Okay, so this is what actually invertebrates, the animals without backbone. Okay, now afterwards there is zoologists, they just classified the three important phyla. They are not very much relating to the character of the invertebrates, not to the character of the vertebrates. These are urochordates, hemichordates, and cephalochordates. Urochordates means hermaphrodite animals, herdmania. Okay, Pellida is found exclusively marine in organism like starfish. Okay, bisexual organism. And after that, urochordates, cephalochordates, amphioxus, and the hemichordates, balanoglossus. So these are actually very few species they are found existing all over the world. Now the next category in the animal kingdom is the chordata, my dear students. Chordates, animal with backbone or vertebral column. Chordates are classified into the 5 categories, 5 main categories. Phylum Chordate comprises class Pisces, next class Amphibia, next class Reptilia, and then class Aves and class Mammalia. Number 1 is we will see the reproductive process or reproduction in all the 5 categories. Definitely, they have a well-organized body. All the essential body systems, they are present. They have completely developed reproductive system like the other systems. Like 10 body systems are there. Okay, no doubt. All these 5 categories of the chordates are again divided into the 2 categories: cold-blooded animals, also known as poikilotherms, and the warm-blooded animals, also known as homeotherms. As far as concerned about the first category, the reproductive process into the fishes. Fish belongs to the class Pisces. Pisces means fish, streamlined body. Scales are present, either embedded scale or the scale superficially arranged. The fishes, they're exclusively marine, strictly aquatic in nature. They respire by gills, the basic character. Okay, so how the reproductive process of the reproduction takes place? The process of reproduction or complete overall process of the reproduction into the fish is known as spawning process. They reproduce throughout the year. The culture of fish is known as pisciculture. So, commercially, they are also very important for export, import, fisheries, as we are just happening in the business, biological business. Okay, so what happened that the fish, they reproduce. Male fish is different, female fish is different as the sex reproduction. The male, it just external fertilization takes place into the fishes. The male fish spray the sperms into the water, and simultaneously the female fish spray the ovum into the water, and the fertilization takes place outside the body. This is known as the process of fertilization, formation of zygote, it takes place, and afterwards the new fishes are formed. That is the biggest group. Okay, into the, we can say, vertebrates. Next one is the phylum Amphibia, or I can say the phylum Chordata. It comprises the class Amphibia. In the amphibians, what are the amphibians? That is the frog and other salamanders and some specific ichthyosaurs, and these are all the amphibians. They are very few according to their under endangered species. Okay, because of that the conditions, environmental circumstances, or I can say the cold-blooded animal, they can't survive easily by the fluctuation of the temperature. So that amphibians, they are very few. How that, if I will emphasize to the common Indian bullfrog. The common Indian bullfrog, Rana tigerina. In the Rana tigerina, the size of the male is very small with comparison to the size of the female. The favorable season for the breeding season, favorable breeding season is the rainy season. So in the rainy season, the reproduction takes place into the frog or the amphibians. Similar process like the fish. Okay, external fertilization. Okay, the contact of the sperm and ova takes place into the water. Then afterwards, there's the formation of the zygote. Zygote undergoes the division, the cleavage, and afterwards the formation of the morula, blastula, gastula, also known as the gastrulation, and ultimately it develops into the very specific fish-like structure is known as tadpole. Now, tadpole undergoes a very specific process. That process is known as metamorphosis. Metamorphosis means development of the new structure or the new body which is not resembling to the man body. This is actually the difference between growth and metamorphosis. Human beings, they perform the growth, not metamorphosis. While in case of the amphibians, some other organs also, in arthropods also, they perform the process of metamorphosis. So metamorphosis is that the offspring and the man, individual or parental body, they are totally different. See, tadpole. In tadpole, a tail is there, but frog which is not having tail. While in a tadpole, the gills are there, the frog, the gills are totally obliterated. So neck is there in the tadpole, while in case of the frog, there is no neck. So this is what known as the conversion or the development of the tadpole into the frog is not growth, is the metamorphosis process. Now I will explain the process of reproduction in class Reptilia of phylum Chordata. These chordates are very specific. Examples: lizards, dinosaur, dragons, crocodiles, turtles, etc. These organisms or the reptiles, they are actually creeping creatures. They have embedded scales, and some species are dangerous. They have the poison glands. Okay, my students. So it means that in the reptiles, how the reproduction takes place. Reptiles, amphibians, and fishes actually, they are not sexually dimorph. Now, what is the meaning of the sexual dimorphism? Sexual dimorphism means sexes are totally appearing different. The appearance of the male body, even internal organs, etc., is totally different from the female body. This is known as sexual dimorphism. And if the sexes are identical, means like in the we can say frog, in some lizards. So you cannot judge that which one is exactly is the male and which one is female. So if you cannot judge easily the we can say the difference between the male and female, that condition, what that does not, you cannot differentiate, or we can say is not as the identical sexes. So they are not sexually dimorph animals. So sexual dimorphism is very well seen into the category of the human beings. The male is totally different appearing and the female is different. Okay, anyway. So my students, they lay cladoic eggs. Okay, these category of organisms means reptiles and birds. They lay cladoic eggs. They are actually oviparous organisms. While in case of the fishes and amphibians, they are also oviparous. But they lay the non-cladoic eggs. Now, what do you mean by the cladoic and non-cladoic eggs? Non-cladoic eggs means eggs which is not covered by the shell, calcium, hard shell. That type of eggs are known as non-cladoic eggs. While the cladoic eggs are the eggs, the complete eggs are covered by the hard shell is known as cladoic eggs. It's made up of the calcium. So what the reptiles, the eggs of the reptiles, the eggs of the, can say, the birds, they are cladoic eggs. So they are oviparous organisms. So all the three categories, fish, amphibians, reptiles, and birds, they are oviparous. While in case of that, the mammals, they are viviparous organisms. Maximum mammals, they are viviparous. Some species, except some species like Ornithorhynchus cuniculus or duckbill platypus. Now, in case of the mammals, Madison, in the birds first. Okay, the birds, they are oviparous, no doubt. Male and female are different. They are unisexual organisms. Okay, and they perform the whole process of the sexual reproduction, fertilization, development of the zygote into the morula, blastula, gastula, and development of the new individual. This process is totally performed by all the cold-blooded and the warm-blooded animal. In case of the mammals, my students, mammals are a highly organized group of the phylum Chordata. Mammals, they have mammary glands. Okay, they are viviparous organisms. They are warm-blooded animals. As the birds, they are also warm-blooded animals. Okay, so the mammals, the warm-blooded animals, they are also known as the homeotherms, while cold-blooded animal, the first three categories, fish, amphibians, and reptiles, they are cold-blooded, also known as poikilotherms. And the next two categories, They are known as the birds and the mammals. They are warm-blooded animals or homeotherms. In mammals, highly organized body, cells, tissue, organ system, everything is there. A separate reproductive system is there. The male reproductive system in the body of the male, the female reproductive system in the body of the female. Okay, so my dear students, this how the reproduction takes place in the mammals like the human beings, that I will explain detail into the next chapter, that is the human reproduction. Okay, so the reproduction, they are actually viviparous, total pregnancy period, they perform and several other things. Okay, so my dear students, now it's very clear that the process of the reproduction is it gradually become complicated into the higher groups, and it's very simple to the lower groups like unicellular to the multicellular organisms. In case of the higher groups, my dear students, as per the conclusion of this chapter, in the higher groups, my dear students, there are the difference between the categories. Okay, according to the International Biological Nomenclature Code, that is IBNC, recommended, that is the male, the sign, and the female, that is the sign. Okay, so male and female, they are different. They have the different categories like the monoecious, dioecious, unisexual, bisexual. These are some specific terms which is used for the reproductive processes according to the structure or the reproductive organs they are present into the body. Clear? So this is what the overall the concept of the reproduction. There are several other things. Okay, if I will go through the lifespan of the various organisms, my dear students, surprisingly the lifespan of the various organisms is different. Okay, if I will emphasize to the animal kingdom or the zoology, what the maximum lifespan is just attained by the tortoise, they're 100 years to the 200 years or 300 years they can survive. While one insect, a very small fly, the name is mayfly, it survives for only 1 day only. The smallest lifespan and the biggest lifespan, my dear students. So the lifespan, it depends on the environmental conditions. It depends on the, we can say, the favorable environmental conditions and the fluctuation of all the 5 factors of the environment. So the survival of an organism, it depends on the favorable environmental circumstances and the proper health. So this is what something about the reproduction in organism. Thank you very much.
For latest videos and updates, like, share and subscribe. For instant notifications, press the bell icon.